Hey there, it's John from Heroes and Legends, and this is the first episode of a new series I wanted to start called Let's Talk About. Today we're going to talk about Magic the Gathering Online, specifically the recent changes that have occurred to Magic Online. And I want to kind of give you a quick rundown of these changes and then talk about how they affect us, how they affect you, how they affect me, how they affect businesses and companies that actually make money on Magic Online. And is it a good thing? Is it a bad thing? Which players are affected in a good way? Which players are affected in a bad way? That type of thing, and I'd love to hear your opinions on all this, so definitely let me know in the comments below. Quickly, before we get started, there's a link in the description to my Amazon affiliate store. If you make any purchases through any of the links on that store, a small percentage will come back to help the channel. I always appreciate that, and as always, thank you to the folks on Patreon that help make these videos possible. Having said that, let's get into the information and let's talk about the changes that have recently occurred to Magic Online. We'll start with the prize payouts. Alright, so this information came out a few weeks back, and during that time we were kind of in full swing Kaladesh mode, so I didn't do a video on it right away. I thought about it and kind of wanted to do one after the set came out, but then I really wanted to think about things a little bit because it's actually some pretty complicated stuff, and I wasn't sure how I felt about it, quite honestly. Now I think I have a little more of a shaped opinion now that I've been able to play a little bit of Magic Online over the last couple weeks. And let's kind of go through the changes first so we're all on the same page. We're going to talk about pre-release events first. And let's look at Kaladesh pre-release events. There's a couple different ones. First, let's look at Sealed Pre-Release League. And I'm going to say this right off the bat. Pre-release events are horrible value. Horrible value. And this isn't a new thing. They were a bad value before the changes. It's sad because speaking as somebody who doesn't always get to go to a paper pre-release, which obviously I would prefer because I think it's just a more fun experience than playing online. But I still want to experience something. I still want to play with the cards for the first time. And I have played in these pre-release leagues, and I've had fun playing with them. But it's a little bit sad that you just feel like the prize payout is so poor for what you're putting into it. And let's look specifically at what I'm talking about here. If you want to play in a sealed pre-release league, and I will say, leagues are amazing. Kudos to Magic Online for getting the league thing right because they are incredible. So many of us, myself included, don't have time to block out 5 rounds of Magic at once, right? So now you can play one round, come back the next day, come back 2 days later, play another round. That's awesome. That is incredible for people that I can't just sculpt out that time. It's just too difficult. That was the major thing that kept me from doing tournaments, especially longer tournaments, more than say a 3-round tournament. This really opens up a lot of possibilities. That was an incredibly smart move. Now, in particular, prize payouts cost 24 tickets, or about $24 to play. And if you go 5-0, you get those 24 play points back, which means you get a free game. You get your qualifying points, which is cool. And you also get 5 booster packs. So if you go 5-0, there's decent value there, right? I mean, get to play again for free. And you get 5 booster packs, which means you could play maybe a draft. You take 3 of those packs and $2 or some tickets, and then you can go ahead and also play in a draft, and then you have 2 packs left over. You're on your way to buying into another draft. Decent value. 4 wins. Now things are starting to slide quickly. 120 play points, so already half of what you put into it you get back. And you get 4 Kaladesh booster packs. Again, you can play draft for a couple dollars. That's kind of nice, but you are starting to lose a lot of play points at this point. 3 wins, 3 booster packs, so again, helps you buy into a draft, but only 60 play points come back to you. 2 wins, Kaladesh, you get 2 Kaladesh boosters, and 1 win, 1 Kaladesh booster, so not even enough to play a draft. But it is nice they give the folks with 1 win at least something for participating, considering it is a pre-release. I think that's kind of nice. All right, let's look at the draft leagues, and these are a little cheaper to buy in. Of course, they're only 3 rounds, 120 play points, about $12. And if you go 3 wins, guess what? You don't get any play points back. You get 4 boosters, which, okay, sure. Again, you can pay into playing another draft with 3 boosters, but it's still going to cost you a few dollars or a few play points to do that. 2 wins, you get 2. 1 win, you get 1. You're just not setting yourself up to go infinite unless you basically go flawless in the sealed event, because you always are going to be paying something in, even if it's just a couple dollars. Like, there is this rake that is just causing you to just pay more money to play again. Where I feel like if you have a great record, and I'm not talking about undefeated record, I feel like if you have one loss, even two losses, it's kind of nice when you're rewarded by the ability to play again, or at least get really close to playing again. But they're really kind of throttling that a little bit, and it's happening even more in the pre-release leagues than it is in the regular leagues, and that's a little disconcerting. Let's continue forward, and we're going to look at regular events now. So the Kaladesh sealed event. Quickly, if you're not familiar with this, basically you play a sealed event with 3 rounds. At the end of those 3 rounds, you can buy in by paying another pack or pay 4 event tickets or 40 play points to get another pack of cards to add to your deck, rebuild your deck. So you get to do that twice because you're playing 9 rounds. So after round 3, you get to do that. After round 6, you get to do that, and you play a total of 9 rounds. So if you're going to get involved in this event, you're going to start off by paying about $24, or 6 boosters and 4 event tickets, which is about $4, or 240 play points. Then what you can do is you play your 3 rounds, and if you're interested in continuing, maybe you're doing well, you like your deck, then you can pay in another $4, and then you can do that again after round 6. So you get to the point where you basically spent $32 on the full event if you stuck it out. So if somehow you're able to go 9-0, win 9 rounds, get through this thing flawlessly, you'll get 160 play points for going 9-0. You'll also get a total of 120 play points for 40 for each of the 3 stages. So you'll get a total of 280 play points. However, it costs you 320 worth of play points to actually play the game. So, granted, you are getting other stuff. I mean, you're getting the 3 Kaladesh boosters on top of it, but you're getting less play points than you actually paid into it. And that is pretty bad. Now, the 3 boosters do allow you to play perhaps a draft once Kaladesh goes live in this instance, right? But you still have to spend another couple dollars to do that. So not only aren't you getting a chance to play another free sealed event like this one, but you will eventually later get to play a booster draft, but you also have to pay $2 to get into it. To me, that's a really bad payout for 9 wins. I mean, 9 wins, that's a lot of work to do to get a payout like that. And it's also worth noting that you can't use the Kaladesh booster packs to play in the pre-release draft. You can only do that once it actually goes live. So, yeah, that's a little bit painful. Then when you look at the other ones, I mean, you have 8 wins, 2 Kaladesh boosters, you still get the 160 play points, but do keep in mind you'll be getting about 10 less play points overall. 7 wins, 160, but you'll be getting about 20 less play points overall, 1 booster pack. You get to the 6 wins, just the 160 play points, but again, you're getting less overall because you're starting to get more losses. And then finally 5 wins is 60. And then nothing for 4 wins. 4, 3, 2, 1, 0, and zip, nothing. So that's pretty tight. I mean, it really makes going infinite difficult. And you notice the trend here. You're still paying something in. They're always trying to find ways to make you pay at least a little bit something to go back in. They're not giving you that full value back. And that's where this gets kind of difficult. All right, let's look at a competitive sealed league. Now, these are going to be a little bit better, but they are usually geared to more experienced players because the prize payouts are better. So this time around, it's going to cost 240 play points. You're going to play 5 rounds. If you win all 5, you get 360 play points. So you get your qualifying points. And you get 6 booster packs. That's actually great value. If you go 5-0, I think that's very fair. It's a free game plus extra play points, plus you get the 6 packs of Kaladesh, which means you can take those extra play points and the packs and play 2 more drafts. So you're, in theory, getting 3 new games of Magic. That's actually pretty awesome. I do like that. 4 wins, 240 play points. You're getting your play points back. 3 packs of Kaladesh. Couple dollars short again of playing another sealed and a booster draft. So they're getting you with a few dollars there. 3 wins, 120. Now you get half your play points back and 1 booster pack. So you're really starting to see diminishing returns there. And then, of course, 0, 1, and 2, no prize payout. The Kaladesh drafts, these are the 6-2-2-2 drafts, will cost about $12 to play. And if you get 3 wins, you get 6 booster packs. Again, you're not going to get any of the play points this time, just 6 booster packs. So yes, I can play 2 more times, but I have to pay some cash in. I'm going to have to pay like $4 basically to get in at this point and play again. And 2 wins, I only get 2 packs, so I have to buy a pack and $2 basically to play another draft. And of course 1 and 0 nothing. Now the 8 and 4 queues, again, a little bit better. You are going to pay the $12 to get in, but this time you could win 8 packs. But notice it's 8 packs and not 9, so yes, you get 1 draft, 2 drafts. You're still paying $4, and now for a 3rd draft, you'd have to buy another pack and $2 more. So basically, coming in first is giving you no free games completely, but helping you buy into a couple more games. Second place, 4 packs, 1 qualifying point. So kind of the same thing here, and you kind of see what we're getting at. So here's the thing, to sum this all up quickly when it comes to limited. I'm somebody who, I played all last summer, basically paid 1 time and played the whole summer of Magic. And I don't play all the time. Probably once or twice a week I play. I played a draft, or I played sealed at one point, I think. And I only had to pay once. And that encouraged me to keep playing. Now, problem with that from a business point of view is I'm not giving Wizards any money. I gave them money 1 time, and I played all summer off their dime. And that's probably not good for them. However, I had a very successful summer. That doesn't always happen, right? And having things like Cube, for example, Cube is a great way for Wizards to make money, I think, because Cube is incredibly swingy. There's a higher level of variance to Cube, so even your great players could sit down and play a game of Cube and lose in round 1. It just could happen, because that's just Cube, right? You just get hit with some huge, big card, and your deck wasn't prepared for it, and you lost. Now, what I don't like seeing is they take something like Cube, which I think can already be very lucrative for them, and they cut out the Swiss rounds. That's something they did last time around, which was very painful, because if you've ever played Cube and you didn't play Swiss, I mean, granted, sometimes you do that to try to get a better prize payout, but if you just want to sit down and play some Magic and you're not really too concerned about the prize payout, you just want to play, your game could be over in like 20 minutes. I mean, you could sit down and draft for like 10-15 minutes, and you could be in a game and out of a game in 10 minutes. That's the nature of Cube. Do you feel like you got your money's worth for that? Probably not, right? Are you going to go back and do another one? Probably not. So I think they're kind of shooting themselves in the foot with some of these more restrictive policies. There does have to be a happy medium. I mean, you don't want everybody playing infinitely, but I think there's enough variance in the game. Even great players are going to lose a fair amount of the time, right? Your best players will still probably lose, 50% of the time, 40-50%. So it really doesn't create a situation where you can always continually go infinite. Great players will be able to do it for a long time and do it maybe more of the time, but there's also a lot of casual players on there that are going to have to pay more to play, right? So I think the system right now is just trying to squeeze more money out of everybody. Now, here's the thing. That's what businesses do, right? Businesses are going to take the money if you're willing to give it to them. So if you don't agree with these prize payouts, if you don't like what the changes they made to the limited game here that you see on the screen, vote with your wallet. Don't play limited. And I'll give you some alternatives. We're going to talk about constructed next, but just don't play limited. And that's kind of the point I'm at, quite honestly. I don't see myself playing a whole lot of limited. Not to say I want to throw in money maybe once a month, and if I win it back and I can play again for free or maybe for $2, I might think about it. But I don't want to spend, like, go into maybe 3 events in 3 weeks and spend full price. Like, that's just not something I want to do at this point. And I don't think most people want to do. So again, vote with your wallet. Here's my theory on this. I feel like in general, Wizards knows they need to improve Magic Online, that they need to basically reboot it and create something new, a new digital product, and that's going to cost money. Hasbro is not going to want to front that money just solely on the speculation that this is going to be popular. So I think what they're looking for is, hey, digital department, make your money, or at least a percentage of your money for this plan, and you need to do it with the tools you have. And that's the current Magic Online, which means, guess what, folks? They're going to find ways to just kind of nickel and dime you to get that money out of you until they can hopefully take that and create a better product. And I hate to say it because I think it is a lot of fun. There's definitely fun to be had in Magic Online. But I do think it is kind of an old, outdated product, and you're paying more now for, at this point, less. And that kind of hurts a little bit. Now, there's other options out there, and at some point maybe I'll do a video and try out some of the other options that people have put out there to play Magic. And I've seen some of them. They look pretty cool. Magic Online is the one I'm familiar with, but if it continues to just be too expensive to play and they start cutting back on prize support, then it's going to force more people into some of these other options. That's going to hurt them as well. All right, let's talk about Constructed a little bit now, because we talked about what they changed in Limited. Doesn't seem great for players, right? But Constructed is a little different. Constructed's kind of got an interesting story to it, and perhaps you've heard about treasure chests. I think the world kind of exploded when these were announced. Just a couple of issues with these right off the bat, though. Their explanation of them was horrible. In fact, this original article, I'm not even going to spend a lot of time looking at what's in here because it's very vague. They did a follow-up article with more information when people were upset. And their YouTube video here, they had to shut off the comments on their YouTube video. They're so negative. But again, a big portion of that was bad communication, I think. And that happens. I think sometimes companies take it for granted that they're getting their message across, and they're just not taking the time to craft it the right way, and it kind of backfires a little bit. Those things happen. I don't mind as long as they kind of listen and come back and give us the details, and they did do that, so I think that's pretty awesome. Now, here's the deal with treasure chests if you're not familiar with them. Basically, what they're doing is they're adding a new currency to prize support, and it's these treasure chests. They're basically grab bags. You open a treasure chest, you get 3 cards. You have a chance of hitting a really cool card. We're going to look at the odds of that in just a few moments. But let's start off with how they work in the prize support. So if you're in a friendly constructed league, it's going to cost 8 tickets to play, so about $8. You play 5 matches, and if you win, you get your $8 back in play points, 80 play points, and 8 treasure chests. That's for going 5-0. 4-0, you're going to get your play points back and 3 treasure chests. 3-0, you get your play points back and 1 treasure chest. I don't hate that because at least you're getting your play points back. Now, here's the sad part, though. In the past, you'd actually get booster packs, and players like booster packs better for a few reasons. And the main reason being you can take those booster packs and pay into draft with those, right? So again, like we talked about previously, if I get 3 booster packs and a couple dollars, I can play a draft. You can't really do that with treasure chests. Treasure chests are just kind of sitting there, and you're just hoping to pull a good card out of them. And maybe you do, but probably you don't most of the time. All right. You get down to 2 wins, now you get half your play points back. 1 win, 20 play points. They even give you 10 play points for 0. At least you get something. That's kind of nice. With the exception of losing booster packs for treasure chests, I don't hate the prize payout here. Let's go into competitive constructed leagues. These are going to cost $12 to play, basically. And this time, if you get 5 wins, you do get 180 play points. So you get more than you paid into it. That's kind of nice. You also get 6 boosters. So there you go. That's a little better. And you get your 3 qualifying points as well as your 8 treasure chests. Now, again, this is a great payout, but you do have to go 5-0 to get there. So, but this is cool because you do get another free game. Then you can also play 2 drafts if you win. That's pretty decent. I like that. 4 wins, 180 play points again. That's good. 3 booster packs. So, okay, I get to play 2 free games, and that's not too bad. I'm okay with that. You also get 3 treasure chests. 3 wins, okay, I get my money back for playing in a treasure chest. That's actually not that bad either. 0, 1, or 2, you get nothing, but I'm okay with this payout, again, with the exception of the fact that maybe it would be nice for 3 wins to get a booster pack or something like that. For the most part, I'm pretty happy with this prize payout. I think this is okay. The vintage dailies are similar, but they only play 4 rounds, so 4 wins will get you 180 points, costs $12 to play. So similar to what we saw in the last one. 3 wins, and of course 3 wins is a cutoff because you're playing 1 less round. All right, so how does this affect the game? The competitive platform I don't feel is that bad. I don't hate it. The friendly is not good. It could be worse, but I'm not thrilled with the friendly payouts for the friendly leagues. they seem painful, and just the lack of booster packs and less booster packs seems very painful too for people that like to cross over into limited. If I'm just a constructed person, I don't play limited, I'm probably not upset about it, but if I like to cross over into limited, which I think a lot of Magic players do, then you're kind of losing something here. Now, when they first introduced treasure chests, they said you couldn't trade them. They have changed that. So there is going to be some value attached to treasure chests. At this point, we really don't know what that value is, though, because they're random grab bags. And it's hard for me to imagine a lot of people put a lot of value on one given treasure chest just because you can really pull anything out of it, or basically you just pull nothing out of it, right? So let's talk a little bit about what's in these treasure chests, and we'll kind of talk about how this is going to affect the economy a little bit. All right, so what is in these things? You get 3 cards, and they divide these up into slot 1, slot 2, slot 3. Slot 1 is going to be your good card, your guaranteed quote-unquote good card, if you will, or play points. So you get a 19% chance of getting a curated card. Now, a curated card is any of the cards on their list of special cards, and it's quite an extensive list. We'll glance at it in just a second. But these are cards from the history of Magic, and these are good cards. I mean, these are sought after cards. You have things like the Power 9 in there. You just have a lot of great cube cards. Things you see in all the Magic Online cubes are on this list. It's a very long list. So there's a lot of different cards you can get there. There's some big pulls there. If you happen to get a Black Lotus, kudos to you. You could turn that in for a whole bunch of tickets and play for a long time, right? That's nice. You have 51% chance of getting a modern, rare, or mythic. So that's any rare mythic from the modern era of cards. And that's any deck or any set that went through standard. So that wouldn't count like Eternal Masters, for example. This would be like just any set that had gone through standard. So your normal sets, 8th edition forward. Play points, 30% chance. And we'll look at that in a few moments because you could actually get different amounts of play points. Now in slot 2, you have a 79% chance of getting a standard, common, or uncommon. Basically worthless, right? I mean, sad to say, but basically this is a card that's worth a penny you'll be getting. But you do have a 5% chance of also getting a curated card, so that would be a second one. If you got one in slot 1, you could get one in slot 2. Or a 16% chance of getting a modern, rare, or mythic card. Okay, so most of the time you're getting just trash. But every once in a while, you might get lucky and hit a second good card. Slot 3, 98% of the time, you're getting yourself a standard, common, or uncommon. Curated card, 1% chance. Modern, rare, or mythic, 1% chance. Okay, so that's the contents. And when it comes to play points, frequency ratio of play points is 10 points. Frequency ratio is 500 times. 15 points is also 500. 20 is also 500. 30 and 40 points are 300 times. 80 is 50 times. 120 is 50 times. And 1,000 is 1 time. So if you happen to hit the 1,000, that would be amazing, right? But the way you have to read this chart is if you look at 10 play points, for example, you have 500 more times chance of getting that than the 1,000. Same is true for 15 and 20. 30 and 40, you have a 300 times more chance than getting the 1,000, and the 80 and 120 would be a 50 times more chance of getting 1,000. So your chances are very low of hitting the real big ones, right? So, I mean, you could get lucky, maybe get the 80 or 120 every once in a while, but for the most part, the odds are going to be against you. You're getting lower amounts of play points out of these things, right? And again, when you consider that these are replacing booster packs in a lot of cases, there's a lot less value to be had here. But what about those cards? So we know there's some good modern mythics and rares here and there, right? But for the most part, most of them are bulk rares. Just kind of is what it is. So your real money is probably in the curated cards. So what are the curated cards? The list is very, very long, so I won't go through it all right now, but you can see there's a lot of great cards here. I mean, the Power 9's here, like I said. There's things like Fetch Lands. There's just so much here. I mean, definitely check it out if you get a chance. It's kind of fun to read through, but you could probably imagine most of the cards on the list. I mean, these are cards that hold some value in Magic Online in most cases, but there's a lot of them here too that just aren't like super big cards. I mean, you do have to think different things are rare in Magic Online though than are rare in paper, so take that into account to some degree. So I think they do their best of assembling at least some semblance of decent cards here. There's also a frequency ratio for these cards. So of course, some cards, for example, on this page, Massacre is a 12. and Mana Morphos is a 25, whereas Mana Crypt's a 6, or Mana Drain's a 6, right? So the better cards will come out in a little less frequency. And you can even sort by frequency here, which is kind of interesting. You can see, of course, your Power 9 are at the 1 level, and then you have a whole bunch at the 6 level. And these are some of your other kind of big cards for Magic Online. But there's some in here that are bigger than others still, which is interesting. And so on and so forth. And then eventually it kind of starts to creep up a little bit. I think 12 is the next. Yeah, it goes 6 to 12, and I think maybe 24 might be next. But regardless, there you go. There's also a chance of getting a Masterpiece card as a curated card, and these are all right here. And so you got all your Masterpieces here, and again, they do have different frequencies, as you can see. So these are what you could pull. Now, I could open a treasure chest, like I said, get a nice pull, be able to pay, turn that in, and get tickets and pay for some games. That's kind of cool. But you do have to think about something here. The reason cards are worth something is because people want them and they can't always get their hands on them. So that's what drives value. When a lot of cards get released into the wild like this, and keep in mind, treasure chests are going to be pretty abundant. I mean, look how many events happen every day, right? Like, for all those events, the people that have good records in those events are getting these treasure chests. They're opening them up. In most cases, they're probably turning around and selling these cards, unless they have a card that they happen to open they want to build around or something like that. For the most part, they're probably just selling these back to trade bots and stuff on Magic Online. So, over time, these cards are going to start going down in value, and that Black Lotus you open in that treasure chest today isn't going to be the same Black Lotus you open in the treasure chest 6 months from now, because there's going to be X amount of Black Lotuses out there in the free market that people may or may not need anymore. It's at a certain point, right? The demand is going to start creeping down as more people get their hands on them. Price is going to start creeping down. Again, the inventory is going to go up, demand is going to start to go down, and all of a sudden it's not worth as much as it was worth today. And that's the danger of kind of relying on these things as a crutch to hopefully be able to play more Magic Online, because at some point, even the best pulls are not going to be worth as much. And it's not going to take that long for that to really start to happen. Here's the good news. If you're a constructed player, though, it does mean that cards are going to be a lot cheaper over time in Magic Online. So you'll have the ability to build more decks, pick up more cards that you wanted to deck build with. Cards in popular decks or cards that have been rare on Magic Online in the past are going to become more abundant. They're going to be introduced into the economy in more frequency, and that's not a bad thing for you. So here's the question. Treasure chests, who do they hurt? Who do they help? Bottom line is this. With the economics of the game, they are going to help constructed players. If you want to build a constructed deck and just play some constructed, this is a good thing for you. Even if you're not winning treasure chests, it doesn't matter. You're already winning because they're putting cards into the market that are going to basically really make them cheaper in the long run. If you're a limited player, doesn't really matter too much to you, because again, at this point anyway, you can't win them in limited, and you're not somebody, if you're in limited, probably cares too much about the secondary market. You just want to be able to buy packs or buy tickets and play in limited. Now, if you're somebody that likes to cross over, who plays the constructed events but likes to take those booster packs to play limited, you're getting hurt a little bit because the treasure chests are kind of biting into your ability to do that. The people that really get hurt by this will be the people that make a business out of buying and selling cards on Magic Online. There is a big business around that, and those folks, hopefully they've kind of diversified their business, because the singles market is about to crash. Now, singles market was already pretty low, but it's going to get worse for folks that are in the business of trying to buy and sell, right? And the biggest thing that's going to hurt them, we haven't even talked about yet, and that's the redemption changes. So for those of you not too familiar with this process, basically the way it works is if you put together a set of Magic cards on Magic Online, so I go out and I collect Eldritch Moon, for example, I can redeem that for a physical paper set. I turn in my Magic Online inventory, it gets blinked out of existence, and they send me a paper set in the mail, and I have paper legitimate cards to play with. Typically in the past, I think it was somewhere between 24 to 36 months that you could redeem a set. That time frame is now being crunched down to about 3 to 6 months. So what does that mean for the economy? What does that mean for the market? What's that mean for you? And you say, hey, you know what? I've never done that. I've never tried to collect a set. How's that even going to affect me? Well, here's the deal. When you have a set like I'll use Shadows over Innistrad, for example. There's some decent cards in that set, right? People use them for constructed purposes, for standard. And there's a certain point where Magic Online cards, they usually start a little more expensive than the paper cards as they come out slightly later, and it takes a little while for them to kind of build the momentum as people draft and play sealed and open more and more packs, right? But then there is a point where they pass paper because so many people are always online playing, drafting, playing sealed, opening packs, more so than in real life, that eventually these cards, based on the size of the people interested in Magic Online versus the size of the people that play paper Magic, eventually these cards start to become worth less and less and less. And that's why so many Magic Online cards are so cheap. They're worth a penny or two a lot of the times, right? It's very easy to put certain decks together. With the exception of a handful of cards, you can usually build a deck very, very cheap, right? Well, you ain't seen nothing yet because the reason that the market doesn't just crash as much as it could is because you have folks that are always redeeming these sets for 24 to 36 months from the point when the set comes out. And there is a sweet spot where eventually the value of the Magic Online cards will become relatively cheap, and the paper cards will still be holding their value because they're seeing play in standard or what have you. And there are people that have a whole business to taking money, investing into Magic Online, putting together sets, redeeming those sets for paper, selling off those singles, rinse, wash, and repeat. And you can actually make money. Well, you could actually make money doing that. And as long as you hit that sweet spot and you pay real close attention to the market, you could do very well doing something like that. Not no more. So Wizards came in and they pretty much put an end to that. Kaladesh, at this point, of course, you can redeem Kaladesh cards for paper cards. However, as soon as Amonkhet comes out, no more Kaladesh. Game over. You can't redeem anymore. Aether Revolt's even worse. Aether Revolt comes out, you can start redeeming. Amonkhet comes out, done. Aether Revolt's done. So that does a couple things. From a paper point of view, it means less paper Magic cards in the market. However, I don't think that's going to matter too much in the world of paper because you do have other driving factors like the inventions, for example, that are going to get people opening more packs. So I think that's going to be pretty negligible for paper. The place you're going to see the real impact is going to be the online economy. Those folks that were taking these digital cards out of the marketplace and pulling them into the real world, they can't do that anymore. They can't do that to make a profit. They can't do it after a certain point, like we see here. And that means more and more and more digital cards are going to clog up the marketplace. You thought Magic Online cards were cheap now? They are going to be dirt cheap. Dirt cheap. For all these new sets coming out, throw treasure chests and the cards that are being added to the marketplace on top of this redemption change. It's a good time to get into constructed Magic. So again, constructed players, big win here, huge win. If you want to build decks and play around and test decks, no time has ever been better. It's going to be awesome. Limited players, yeah, they're kind of throttling you a little bit and they're making you pay into the system more. But the folks that play constructed, they're going to have it good. So to sum up all of this, here's my take on it. This has really made me change the way I'm looking at Magic Online. I am quite honestly pretty much getting out of limited at this point. Like I said, I might play a little bit here and there occasionally, but I'm not going in with the mindset to try to go infinite anymore because I just feel like the odds are just too strong against you now. It's changed to the point where I can't feel relatively confident that I'm going to be able to play for free all summer like I did last summer, for example. I'm now going to look in constructed, and that's kind of cool because it's a whole new way of looking at it. I've kind of written off constructed on Magic Online up until this point because, yeah, it was a little too expensive for me, and I didn't feel like I'd be able to necessarily go infinite and get as much play time in. Although, I mean, you can build a deck, obviously, and just play that same deck forever if you want, but I kind of felt like I'd probably get bored with that. That's why I like draft and what have you. But you know what? If I can build 4, 5, 6 decks or something like that, well, that's a little bit different, right? And I can probably find actually a lot of fun doing that. And as a matter of fact, I've already started working on a new video and a new series of videos where I'm going to do some budget decks on Magic Online and show them to y'all and test them out and see how they go. And I just started that, so hopefully we'll get one of those videos out either this week or next week. But yeah, this is interesting and actually very exciting for certain people. It hurts some, it helps some. and I guess it just depends on what side you end up on. It is kind of sad for any of the folks who do make a living off of Magic Online, or it's a big part of their business. And like I said, that's why it's always important to diversify your business, especially if your business is contingent upon someone else's business. Because someone else's business you don't have control over. They could change it drastically, like we saw here, or they could simply go out of business, and then you're kind of out of luck. So hopefully they've diversified to the point where this won't destroy their current business, because I think that would be sad. That would be a really unfortunate situation if that is what happened to some people. I'm sure it will happen to some people. But as far as the game goes and the casual players, I think limited players, like I said, are getting hurt a little bit by this, but really the constructed players are in for a good time. So having said all that, I hope this video helps you understand the changes a little better and how they're actually going to impact the market, impact you. Let me know in the comments below your thoughts. What type of player are you? Is this good for you? Is this bad for you? Are you happy about it? Sad about it? Do you even still play Magic Online anymore? Did you leave a long time ago? I'd love to kind of hear your thoughts on all that and get that feedback just for my own curiosity, because I kind of wonder where everybody is with this. I had a friend, and maybe at some point I'd like to get him on one of the videos we could talk about Magic Online, who never played Magic Online, played paper Magic all his life, and he tried to get into it and didn't seem real happy with Magic. I'd like to hear his take on it. With Magic Online, he didn't seem real happy. I'd like to hear his take on it, because just a lot of the obstacles you go through being a new player, I kind of take for granted, because I started playing Magic Online back when it began, and I guess I kind of went through the growing pains, and I kind of learned as I went. And even now, I don't play all that much, so I'm not like an expert. Like, I can't click lightning fast through everything, but I can't imagine, I think, a new player trying to jump into this environment. It just seems so counterintuitive, especially when everything's so simple today, and you can download games like, on your cell phone, right, on your iPhone, and they work incredible, and you go and play something like this and it almost feels archaic in some ways. So I think I kind of forget that as I go forward and continue to use Magic Online. So anyway, like I said, I want to wrap this up. It's already been a pretty long video, but I hope this helps, and as always, hey, thanks for watching. Please remember to like and subscribe, and have a great day. Hey, thanks as always for watching. This video, like all my videos, was made possible by the generous support of viewers like you on Patreon. Even a donation of $1 helps me to keep growing this community and creating better quality content for all of you. Check out our Patreon page for exclusive giveaways and future goals for the channel. If you haven't yet had a chance to subscribe, hit that subscribe button so you don't miss any of the MTG news, spoilers, set reviews, product openings, or finance videos on Heroes and Legends. Talk to you again soon, and have a great day.